everybody, I'm Joey Paul and I'm an indie author, and welcome back to my channel. I write adult fiction across a variety of genres, and if you think that might interest you, then think about subscribing below. Last year I decided to pull a release and only had the one release in 2021 and will only have one release this year. Part of that was personal reasons and another part was just needing a break from editing. So what have I learned during that time off? Number one, editing is essential, but so is self-care. There's nothing wrong with the editors I work with. They're all highly professional and are great to work with. But personally, I just do well in the editing cycle. I don't know whether it's the pressure or the anxiety or a mixture of many different things. And I've talked about why I don't like the editing process before, which I will link up in the cards. So taking a year off, I made sure that I stayed in the right headspace for the majority of the year. I took that time to work with my therapist on some things that were bothering me, and I tried to get more distance from my work so that when I came back to sending the book to the editor in April, I would be in a better mental headspace. Editing is a necessary part of the publishing process. I knew I couldn't skip it, and neither did I want to. But at the same time, it was really hard for me to go through it when I was struggling so much with other matters outside of writing and publishing. So I leaned a lot into self-care this past year. I've been spending more time refilling my well and getting myself ready for the next stage of the process. As you all know, I have been revising Invisible and doing the occasional check on Second Pang to make sure that it's very much ready to go to the editor in April, and part of getting that time off allowed me to take it slower, to ease off the gas as it were, so that I could grow and learn and accept the changes that needed to be made. Number two, perspective is everything. One of the things I was really struggling with, and one of the reasons I'm not fond of the revision/editing process, is that I have no set process for it. Every single book is different. I can write and draft and then come back to it sometime later and realize the whole thing needs to be rebuilt from the ground up, and that can be seriously daunting. But that said, having some perspective on the matter really does help. Taking that time away allowed me to work on the smaller things rather than worry too quickly about getting overwhelmed about the bigger stuff. While revising Invisible, it took me a good few drafts to spot a problem, and then when I went through with the plan to fix it the next time, I found that actually there was no problem. I just mistook what happened, forgotten, or the like, or either had already corrected it or I'd written it right the first time around. Realizing this allowed me to see that some of the process I was talking about does work. It might just take me a bit to get into the swing of things. Taking the time away gave me a chance to really look at how I approached revision and what worked and what didn't, and from there gave me a little bit of a roadmap on how to approach revisions in the future. I'm not saying that it'll always work and that I will approach every project the same way, but I will have some guidance on how I work and how to do things. Number three, the publishing process is grueling. I kind of already knew this, having gone from releasing one book a year to two and then 1 year at 3. I knew the process was hard work, and yet I still felt like I was letting people down by not being able to do more. It took a lot of soul searching, and I got to the point where I was burning out. If I'd gone ahead with release for Second Pang last year, I don't think I would have made it through the process. While taking this time away, it allowed me to fall in love with both drafting and a little bit more with the revision and professional editing stage. As an indie author, a lot of the final stages fall to me to get right. I have to hire the editors, the cover designers, do all the promo, or hire someone to do all the promo, and it takes so much out of you that it's really hard to put it into words. A release is a hell of a lot of hard work, and even with help, it's easy to feel like you're drowning. I needed to take that break so that I could come back fresh. I still plan to release a Second Pang this year and then move back slowly, hey Lobi's Tortellini, into 2 releases next year. It gives me a chance to take a break, but it also lets me make sure that this won't happen again, that I won't need to get to that stage of burnout again, because I know the signs to look for. And finally, number 4. Friends, readers, and the writing community make the world go around. I can't really say enough about the people who rallied around me this past year or so. I have made new friends, met new readers, and even met a bunch of new Authortubers. And all of them have been great at making sure that I know it's okay to take this time. My friends have been supportive, helping me where they can. My readers have been understanding, happy to wait until I'm ready to start the release train. And the Authortube and writing community have been on hand to help with whatever I need help from. 2020 and 2021 were hard years for all of us. We don't yet know what 2022 is going to bring, but if it's anything like the last 2 years, we're in for a ride. And for the first time in a while, I'm hopeful about what may lay ahead of me. So So thank you to all of those who reached out. You know who you are, and I'm extremely grateful for you. So there we go. Those are what I've learned about taking a year off editing. As I said, I will be jumping back on the train in April with Second Pan going to the developmental editor, and I'm nervous about it, but I'm also happy with where the book is. So what's something you've learned over this past year? Let me know in the comments down below. So that's all I've got time for today. If you want to support my channel, you can comment, like, or subscribe. I post new videos on Thursdays. You can find me all over social media, and my books are available everywhere. And don't forget to pick up Lights Off, which is the third in a young adult dystopian trilogy. And also don't forget to grab a ticket for Author City in Birmingham in July 2023, where I'll be signing books. All the links for which are listed below. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep writing. Bye!